we said 4 structures, okay? That's going to consist of all of your hair cutting. I always ask the question in the classroom when it comes to hair cutting, not to put anybody on the spot per se, but to just try to make a point, okay? And I say, can anybody tell me what a bob is? A clear-cut definition of a bob. I always get a lot of definition, but not necessarily something that's very concrete, okay? And the reason why I ask what a bob is because a bob is a very common haircut. It's done everywhere. You know, everybody sees it, everybody knows how to do it, but we cut hair mostly from a visual. We're creatures of habit. We cut hair from what we see. That's why a lot of times when we go in the salon, your clients always come to us and they ask us for a hair magazine because they want to see a picture. They want to tell you, show you that picture and ask you to cut their hair that way. And most of us, with our creative juices, we can go ahead and try to depict that haircut and sculpt it out the way that we see it, okay? But we don't cut hair from what we know, we cut from what we see. That's why so many of our haircuts don't sustain, okay? One of the masters of the Bauhaus said that we have taken the responsibility of bearing and support away from the Bauhaus and given it a new responsibility of sustaining the elements, okay? And what that basically means is that when you cut the head of hair, the hair is supposed to sustain anything. The humidity, the wind, moisture, it's supposed to stay there, okay? But a lot of times what we do, we cut that haircut and we have to doctor it up to make it look like what we want to look like. That's what you get in those magazines. The haircuts, they're done, they're produced for the camera, okay? We cut them, then we spray them, we spritz them, we smack them, we flip them, we rub them down, okay? To get them to look like what we want to look like. But if you cut the hair correctly and properly, you don't have to do all that, okay? So let's get back to that bob question. Somebody say, what is a bob? Most people tell me that a bob is a blunt haircut. Okay, well, a blunt haircut can be done like this. I can hold this hair up and cut this hair right here like this. That doesn't make it a bob, okay? And my point is, the reason why I asked that question is, if you can't tell me what something is, how you gonna cut it, okay? Again, we're cutting from what we see, a visual. All right, now the definition for bob that I want you to understand is that it has a length progression that increases toward the top of the head. If I had a flip chart, I could really show you better in graphics. It has a length progression that increases toward the top of the head. It has a smooth and unbroken surface. All length fall down to one level. Let's break it down. It has a length progression that increases toward the top of the head. That means the hair in the bob is always cut at low projection. A bob is never cut with any type of activation. There is nothing going on or nothing happening in the bob. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean that the hair is always cut at low projection, meaning the hair is always cut at 0-degree elevation, which means it's flat against the skin, or no more than 1 finger elevation. There is no activity here in a bob. Therefore, the bob cannot be pulled out into a 35 or 45-degree angle, okay? Let me give you the Chuck Caple remix. If you ain't got enough hair, you can't get it. Okay? It has a length progression that increases toward the top of the head. The further you travel up, the hair has to travel down to your guideline. The further you travel away, the longer the hair gets. Ergo, it has a length progression that increases toward the top of the head. Has a smooth and unbroken surface. When you hear me say it has a smooth and unbroken surface, that means that there are no layers in the hair, okay? All length fall down to one level. Now, a lot of times you go in the salon and the client comes in the salon, she has hair way down here, okay? The hair is long past the shoulders, and she said, I want a bob. But previously, she went in the salon and had her hair cut. She had some layers in her hair, but the hair is still down here. So you go in the salon, and she said, okay, I can cut you a bob. So you start sectioning the hair, and you start cutting, okay? Once you get into the middle of the section here, maybe possibly in the center of the occipital area, you find out the hair doesn't come all the way down to your guideline. Okay, if the hair doesn't come over in the guideline, then the hair it does not have a smooth and unbroken surface. Okay, so let me say this. You can have a layered bob, but it can't be layered first. You understand what I'm saying? You can have a layered bob, but it can't be layered first. You can come in here and cut this bob, and then you can come back and soften up the interior and throw layers in there, and therefore you have a layered bob. But the hair already has layers in it. It can't be a bob. Okay, Chuck Caple remix again. If you ain't got enough hair, you can't get it. Okay, now when you comb this hair down right here, and a lot of times I see this right here, we comb the hair down and we freehand it and we go like this. That's not a bob, okay, because you don't know where the hair originates throughout the interior. Okay, now if you have a client who has a chemical relaxer in her hair, she may be 2, 3, 4 weeks away, 5 weeks away from a touch-up, and she has new growth. Okay? Now, some of the hair may be relaxed, it may be straight on this side, and it may not be as straight on this side or one side or the other. Okay? Because when we start talking about relaxing hair, most of us don't know how to relax hair either. But that's a whole nother class. Okay? All right? So it has a length progression that increases toward the top of the head. Your second one, or another one of your forms is called the graduated form. Okay? We speak professional terms in the salon. We say graduated. We say solid form. Okay? Client comes in the salon and they say, I want my hair cut a bob. She describes a bob to you. So we say, okay, we're going to give her a solid form. We're going to soften up until we're going to increase her layers. And she's wondering what you're talking about. Okay? Because they don't really know. Okay? We want to be paid like professionals. We want to be treated as professionals, so we should act like professionals. Okay? So we speak professional terms in the salon. Okay? And your clients don't always need to know what's going on. You know that saying that says the customer's always right? Customer ain't never right. Okay? Customer ain't never right. Now, if I'm selling retail, if I had a merchant store, I have a store and I'm selling products, then the client is always right. If I sell her a defective product, she comes back, she has a complaint, then she's always right. But when I'm providing a service, a professional service, that client is coming to me for my professional services, okay? So we say graduated form. Now, if I had a flip chart again, a graduated form looks almost identical in graphics and drawing as a solid form does. The only difference is a graduated form is cut usually at a 45-degree angle, okay? It's called, some people say stacks, some people say wedges, okay? It has a length progression in which the ends appear to stack upon one another. Key word is appear. It don't really stack, it just appear to stack, okay? What do I mean by that? When you cut the bob, when you cut a graduated form, when you cut a graduated form, the hair is pulled at a 45-degree angle. When I cut the hair, watch what happens right here. When I cut the hair and let it go, watch what happens. Gravitational pull pulls it right back down, okay? So I pull the hair to a 45-degree position. As I travel up and take my section, each section I take has to travel out to the 45-degree position, okay? Once it comes out to the 45-degree position and I cut it and I let it go, it falls right back down. But each section of hair has to come to the 45-degree position, but the hair underneath and lower is going to be longer because it falls, everything has to travel to that point. So when it falls down, each piece of hair you cut is slightly shorter than the last piece. So when you comb it down, you have a long tail right here that's hanging out. But when you roller set it, flat iron it, or whatever you're going to do to it, it comes out in a wedge. Okay, but when you comb it down, it looks very long in the back. It looks like I have a long little peak, a long little tail. And the first thing we do, we come in and we cut it out. Okay, that's where you made your mistake. It's supposed to be there, but once you style it, it disappears. Okay, now, if I cut a solid form or a bob on this mannequin, we said it has a length progression that increases toward the top of the head. If I cut a solid form or bob on this mannequin, take it off the stand and turn it upside down, it now becomes a shag, okay? Because a shag is the exact opposite of a bob. A bob has a length progression that increases toward the top of the head. A shag has a length progression that increases toward the perimeter. Okay, now, back in the old days, from the old school, we used to take the hair and we used to cut all the hair on this top and the sides. We section it off, we leave the hair long in the back, and we cut that, and we call that a shag. That ain't no shag. Okay, a shag has a length progression that increases toward the perimeter. You start cutting your hair in the crown area. You choose a guideline. Wherever you decide to choose your guideline, you part the hair, all the hair has to travel up to your guideline, okay? The further you travel up to your guideline, and you come down, okay, and you cut it, the hair continues to get longer as we go toward the perimeter, okay? Now, I guess you can probably tell that this mic is getting on my nerve, okay? All right, now, so it has a length progression that increases toward the perimeter. That's your shag, okay? This is also called a thinning technique, all right? When you cut the hair in the crown area and you increase your layers toward the perimeter, you remove all the weight and all the bulk in the crown area right here. The hair is a lot thinner but it stays longer here. That's for your clients who come in the salon who has that long hair. They've had long hair for years. They don't want to lose that length, but they want to do something different to their hair, because when they style their hair, all the hair is one length, is long, is heavy, is weighted, and you can do anything to it. Only thing you blow it dry, bevel it under. If you roller set it, the weight from it just drops it straight down. It has no style, no shape. So that client comes in, she wants to keep her length, but she wants to be able to do something to it more, have more versatility. You come in and increase your layers. Therefore, you have a lot of more activity going on through this area right here. And by the time you take your guideline here properly, by the time you take the last piece of hair and put it up, you probably won't remove any more than that much hair right there. Okay, so now she's happy. She still has a length here. She's also got some things going on right here, and she has more versatility, okay?